Hey YouTubers, this is Shannon. So I just wanted to do a real quick tutorial on some, basically this is how I made my antlers for my coat rack. I don't know how many people have seen it. I put it on my Facebook page, but anyways, so this is just kind of how I did it. I basically took and I made two-part molds of pieces of deer antler. And I used, what is it, smooth on rubber silicone or something. Anyways, I'll put it up there later. But basically this is how I go and I get all the different colors that I can get for my coat racks and stuff. This one I actually use Pearlex macro pearl, and I do a two-part one. I've gotten to where I basically do two parts and I highlight the colors with something like a pearl or a interference color or something like that. So basically it's just another step I can add to it to make it look, you know, more artistic, and I really like it. So, and basically I try and hit the high points, which is where the light's really going to hit it, not so much towards the bottom. I'd never seen anyone else do it. I just wanted to see if it was possible. A lot of them will use, they'll call them casting powders and stuff like that, but I make my own makeup, I make my own paint, I do a lot of that, and not with Pearlex specifically. I have different makeup grade and art grade stuff, but it's the same basic idea. Well, that's not true. I use Pearlex to make paint. What I do is basically, I did an experiment when I made my coat rack. Is I wanted to see if I could use Pearlex powder, because I see a lot of people selling casting powders and it can get kind of expensive to do that, and you really only need a little bit. And given, especially when you use something like smooth, I'm using Smooth Cast 325. When you use Smooth Cast, Smooth On, and I know Brick in the Yard, Biddy Mold Supply, they all sell really similar resin, liquid plastic, whatever you want to call it, that cures really quickly, and when it cures, basically it lets off a heat and it causes the powder to bond to the resin basically, and so it sticks. I really like it a lot. So basically I experimented to see if it would work, and it did. And here, I'll show you an example really quick. Here's an example of some antlers I made for a Christmas gift. I would rather not say who, because you will probably be watching this. But I'm not sure if you can get all the color change. You know, sometimes the thing is with these video cameras, we can't tell if the color, but basically this is was my first attempt at highlighting, and I put in a little gold and then I did russet over it, and it came out really well. And as you guys can see, like, anyone who's used Pearlex and powder pigment knows, look, there's none on my hand, it's sealed. Now what I did do to make sure it's sealed, and I did have a little rub off, is that I went and I used a clear acrylic sealer, and that just kind of made sure everything was done. And you know, any spots that were kind of bare, I just went over again, and see, it's very white. I'm using a new resin for me. This was Smooth Cast 300. I really liked it, but I really wanted something that would take color a little better, in terms of if I wanted to mix pigment in. I'm not going to do that this time, but I want the opportunity and the option. So anyhow, and I really liked, I know Smooth On and Biddy Mold Company are basically the only two I really know of that sell mold making supplies where you can get, like, I hope it shows up. I always, you know, you never know. But I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but there's actual, like, I'm really not good at this. There's like hair in it. There we go. Can you see that? That's actual details of hair. To me, that's amazing. That's what I really, really love about these molds, is I get that level, and this is not a first cast. This is like a 8th or 10th or something. Now, so what I'm doing now is basically I took and I did macro pearl here as a highlight. I did interference violet here, and then what I'm doing and what I've used before and I really like is this antique silver. You can buy these in large jars online. I like to buy the variety packs because I can get a variety and play with it, and I do all sorts of art stuff. So anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a really, really good coat in here. So what I do is, and really the beautiful thing that I really love about this stuff is it just does not take much to fill the mold. And you just want to get in there and get everything nice and coated, basically. I realized I have too much on, and if you have extra, you can always, like I have a little extra down here, I'm just going to put it back in the jar because I don't want to waste it. It's not cheap stuff as far as if you have to purchase it, but I really like it because I can just get way up there, get into these nooks and crannies. So we want to just coat this mold really, really well. And to me, the hardest part is probably to get this handler. And I'll show you what I do basically afterwards. I'll go through and I'll recoat it when it comes out if it needs it, and add a little extra color to it. Yeah, I bought a big thing from the Dollar Tree. I'm a big Dollar Tree shopper. I'm sure like many folks, especially when it comes to projects, because my projects can get really expensive really fast. I do a lot of sculptural, which is basically what I consider this, and they can have some high costs sometimes too. I do this in a resin. I also do this in a plaster. Like my weird head here, I sculpted him out of clay, my little head. I love how he turned out, but I realized two things. I should never sculpt when I watch scary movies because it always looks like the grumpy old man that dies in the first 15 minutes, and that, you know, I really love this stainless steel material paint, even though you gotta shake the doo-doo out of it to get her to go. Anyhow, the reason I bought a whole poo load of these is because you go through a whole poo load. I've actually, in the past, I've used my actual hair ties, and I don't buy expensive ones, but by God, you know, you go through them fast when you use them for this stuff. So, for me, it was just a cost savings overall to go ahead and make the plunge. Purchase these for a whole $1. So, what I've done now is I've set them somewhere that basically I can mold them. I like them somewhere they can set up. They do set up by themselves, sort of, at a weird angle. But I want to be able to have it somewhere I can place it so that when it catalyzes, it just makes a mess in there, stuff leaks out, not anywhere else. So that's the general idea. I like the smooth cast because it's not freaking stinky like some of the others. And I'm a big fan of this whole one-to-one volume thing. It says stir, but my stir sticks aren't on, so we're gonna shake. But basically, another great thing with this wax paper is when I'm done with it, I can literally just throw all the crap away. Okay, so I've never used Smoothcast 325, but the Smoothcast 300 can have a tendency to get kind of, I guess, gloopy is a nice way to put it, on me. I'm not a fan of gloopiness. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. First one I'm going to do is a big one because he's the one that's a bitch, to be honest. And he will leak all over. And I want to try and pour from up above. ideally. Anyhow, it's like 15 minutes after, and so I'm in the process of taking rubber bands off, and this is still very warm, but I know it's basically kicked already because all these little flashing pieces and crap stuff, excuse me, are coming off. And okay, so let's unmold this. Oh yeah, that's the finish that I really wanted to get. See? So see, it's nice, it's solid, it's mixed into it. It doesn't rub off on my hands. So this experiment, I call a success.